Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily Space. I am your host, Annie Wilson, and if you haven't gotten the memo yet, I'll be doing most Wednesdays for Daily Space now. So, so, I'm going to cover the two launches that are going to happen tomorrow. If you have any questions, please at me in chat, and we'll go from there, I guess. And this is always a little weird because I never have everything ready. One of these days, I'll do it right. Okay, so the first launch, because we're just going to go in chronological order, the first launch is Roscosmos. They will be launching at 11:47 Eastern Time or 16:47 UTC. Unfortunately, there's not live video expected, so we won't be streaming this. Also, I can't read Russian, so that makes it even more difficult to see if there is indeed going to be a stream of the launch. If you know of a live stream for this launch, please let me know, and I will do my best to see if I can cover it. So, yeah, so what exactly are they launching tomorrow? Actually, before we get into what they're launching, here's some pictures that they posted on their Twitter of the rocket being put on the pad. So there it is, all horizontal-like. And there it is going up. And boom! It's up! It's ready to go! String Theory says Cyrillic. Yeah, I can't read Cyrillic. I can't do any Russian, I can't do any Cyrillic, none of that. So yeah, if you can read that language and do understand, and you know of a live stream for this launch, because they're all ready for it. You can see the photos of the rocket on the pad. I would love to stream it, but I don't know of a stream. And RocketLaunch.live says no live video expected. So what are they launching? They are launching, this is EgyptSat Alpha for the country of Egypt. Russia has previously launched EgyptSat-1 and EgyptSat-2, and this is actually a replacement for EgyptSat-2, which failed after not even a year in orbit. I think it was like 363 days, and it stopped responding. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. So this one was built with the insurance money from EgyptSat-2 failing, because yes, satellite insurance and launch insurance is totally a thing, and that's how some of these things get paid for. There's no word on what kind of orbit they're going to put it into. I do know that this is going to be an improved version of EgyptSat-2. And it's essentially going to be used for remote sensing and imagery, and it will definitely take pictures of the Earth. So, Paranor made a comment that was a short warranty. It was, because I think EgyptSat-2 was supposed to last for 15 years, and not even 1 year. Yeah, so yeah, that was a very short lifespan. This satellite, like, I believe EgyptSat-2 was mostly built, or at least a significant portion of it was built in Egypt, along with Russian help. So I hope this one has a much longer useful lifetime than the last one, because, you know, remote sensing and having images of the Earth that are yours are super important to everybody. Okay, so that was launch number 1. That is going to be the only payload on this launch. So the second launch is by SpaceX. This is the one we've been waiting for, because it has 3 passengers on this payload. It has the Papa Sierra November 6, that's PSN 6, for Indonesia, and the Space IL lunar lander, as well as another tiny satellite for the US Air Force. We will be streaming this. Well, I will be streaming this. The launch is at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time on February 21st. If you are in other parts of the world, it is February 22nd at 1:45 a.m. UTC. And because there's three passengers on this payload, we're just going to cover them in order that they're going to separate. But first, check this out. This is the mission patch that Spaceflight, who organized this ride share, put together. And you can see, where is it so I can circle for you guys? So here's the rocket. Here's PSN 6. And then this is Beresheet, the Israeli lunar lander. And I think the star is supposed to represent the teeny tiny satellite for the US Air Force. Part of me is a little upset because, you know, we've got the Israeli mission, we've got the US mission, and we have the Indonesian mission, right? But we're missing the Indonesian flag from this. They put the US flag and the Israeli flag, but not the Indonesian flag. So I guess that was a design choice that was made. At least they put the Indonesian satellite on there. I'm not sure. So yeah, that was the patch. I thought it was cool. And then this image was shared by Ambius on our Discord. And if you are not on our Discord, you are missing out, because lots of cool stuff happens on the Discord. So this is an image to show just how tiny Beresheet is. Beresheet is that thing on the top that is circled in red. It is only 600 kilograms. If you're an American, that's 300 bottles. Yeah, 300 bottles of 2-liter soda. That's how much it weighs. But yeah, it is indeed it's not the smallest object, but it's going to be separated first. And here, if you haven't seen it before, and even if you have seen it before, here's a close-up of Beresheet. This is the would-be winner of the Google Lunar X Prize, if it still existed. This is a big deal because it's the first private mission to the moon. It's the first Israeli mission to the moon. And Israel will be the 4th country to soft land on the moon. And this one will be separated first at geostationary transfer or orbit. And it will do a bunch of loops around the Earth to get to the moon. So even though it will be separated tomorrow, it's not going to get to the moon till April because it takes time. They don't have their own dedicated rocket to get to the moon because that costs more money. So they're just going to slingshot around the Earth and get to the moon, which is pretty cool. I think that's a really, really neat way of getting to the moon cheaply. So there are indeed small boosters. I believe those are the red things. And I'm looking at my notes. I'm seeing your questions. I'm going to do all the questions afterwards. I'm trying to think. Originally, the plan was to land, take photo, video, start sending those back to Earth, do a hop of 500 meters, half a kilometer, which I don't have any. That's about 500 meters, about 500 yards for Americans. So it was going to hop 500 meters and take more photo and video. And that would have completed all of the criteria of the Google Lunar X Prize. But because the prize doesn't exist anymore, and that move is kind of risky, the team had decided that rather than risk losing the lander, they're just going to land it, take photo, video, and send the photo, video back. Because that way there will at least be something, a solid one-piece object on the moon that has the Israeli flag on it, which is pretty darn cool, honestly, if you ask me. So, yeah, they're going to skip that risky thing, because there's there's no benefit to doing it. And unfortunately, the lander is not going to last very long. The cameras on it can only tolerate heat, I think, of 85. I think it's 85 degrees Celsius, and lunar days can get much higher, like 90 degrees Celsius. That's close to the boiling point of water for reference. And at night, the temperatures are really, 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 really cold. So the temperature extremes are going to fry the batteries, fry the cameras, probably fry all the electronics. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's still pretty freaking cool, because this might be the cheapest. I haven't researched this, so don't take my word for it. This might be the cheapest mission to go to the moon. Don't quote me on it. I haven't verified that. I will verify that for you tomorrow for the launch, because I'm kind of curious to see where this is, like, money-wise. So, that's... Beresheet's going to be the first one. So the second one that's going to be detached... Actually, how it's going to work is Beresheet's going to detach, and then PSN-6, which is shown on the screen, along with S5, which is that teeny tiny satellite for the US Air Force, are going to stay attached. And they're going to be separated into geostationary orbit, and PSN-6 is actually going to tow S5 to the correct orientation. Because the SpaceX goal is to essentially get the rocket as high as possible away from the Earth to give Beresheet, less distance to cover between the Earth and the Moon. So this is the largest passenger on the rocket at 4,735 kilograms. That's a lot of 2-liter soda bottles. So that's like 2,000 and some. Let's just say it's like 2,500 2-liter bottles. This is going to be a communication satellite for Indonesia. As a refresher, Indonesia has more than 17,000 islands. Pause. Process that for a second. Again, Indonesia consists of more than 17,000 islands. You can't just run cable everywhere. Running fiber is not an option to connect everybody. So this is where things like satellite technology come in, because you put one satellite up, you can get a decent spread of coverage, and you can cover things like 17,000 islands. So for the geeks of you out there wondering, it's going to have a C-band, a KU band. It will also provide voice, data, broadband internet, and I believe some television signals? Fairly certain on that. So, yeah, Indonesia's getting better broadband and better ways to transfer data, because it's not just going to beam things down, it's going to, work how satellite internet is supposed to work and work in both directions really good. So, that is the largest, and now on to the tiniest. So again, this is going to be towed to PSN-6 to the correct orbit, then it will detach. This is the smallest passenger. It is 60 kilograms, that's 30 2-liter bottles, and it's essentially a microsat at this size. I mean, that's 30 2-liter bottles. It will detect and locate objects in near geosynchronous orbit to update the GEO catalog, because yes, the US Air Force maintains a catalog of everything that's in GEO. So this is part of the Space Situational Awareness Mission, which is led by the US Air Force, which is separate and distinct from European Space Agency's Space Situational Awareness Program, which essentially does the same thing. Just keeping track of what's up in space and maintaining catalogs, and this way we can let, you know, the space station know if something's about to, like, crash into it. Well, actually, we catch it way faster, way before the crash would happen, so the space station can make some adjustments. But yeah, this is one of the ways we keep track of what's all up in space. So ta-da! That's all the things! And with that, I'm gonna read your questions now. So if you have any more questions, go ahead and ask them now. I'm going to scroll up. Way up, because that's going to be a bit. Refsmat says there might not be a live stream. This is in reference to the Roscosmos launch. There might not be a live stream, but if you slip the security a few extra dollars, they will let you watch the launch from up close. Extra money to come and scrape you off the hard pan afterwards. Sounds awesome, I'll pass. Larry Quinn Proud said flags cost extra in reference to the really cool mission patch, including the lunar booster. Trying to think. I'm not sure if Beresheet has a lunar booster. I know it has rockets. I know it has rockets, propellant, something on it. I don't remember the details of it, and I apologize. Of how it's going to, you know, slingshot itself around the Earth a couple times to land on the moon. So it is definitely taking a slow ride, as Paranor says. Is it an ion drive? I don't remember at all. At all. About 15 blue whales. Okay. I don't know how much a blue whale weighs. And as far as using 2-liter bottles of soda for kilograms, Americans are familiar with 2-liter bottles. 1-liter bottles aren't as common in most areas. 3-liter bottles aren't very common in some areas. But most Americans know how heavy a 2-liter bottle is. And because for whatever reason, our soda is sold in 2-liter bottles, but our milk comes in 1-gallon jugs. So 1 liter of water is equal to 1 kilogram. And soda is mostly water. So that's why I'm using that as a reference of measurement, because it's something that Americans are going to understand and is fairly accurate. I haven't found something as good as distance. I mean, you have yards and meters. They're only a few centimeters apart, but I can't get anything. I haven't found anything that's good. Nearly as good. Apollo and some Japanese mission got video from the moon. Others? I can't remember if there have been Japanese missions to the moon. There might have been. It might have been a hard landing, which is otherwise known as a crash. Because yes, early lunar missions were literally, can we hit the moon with this thing? Yeah, I'm quite serious. Can we hit the moon with this thing? So a soft landing is when it lands and nothing's destroyed. There probably have been flyby missions by several countries. I briefly looked at that list last night and I didn't make a whole lot of notes. But yeah, there's a list on Wikipedia of lunar missions and it's fairly updated. Paranor says, so Beresheet should last as long as the Venus lander. Wow, the Venus lander only lasted a couple days? Alrighty then. Refsmat adds, most non-plutonium powered lunar landers are dead after 1 or 2 day-night cycles on the surface because of their chemical batteries freeze and rupture. With the exception of... my Chinese is not good enough to pronounce that correctly, so I'm going to use the really bad American pronunciation of U2. That's Yankee uniform, Tango uniform. Yeah, the electronics just can't the batteries, the cameras, not everything is... To get things rated for space is really expensive because you're dealing with really extreme temperatures. Mythtown says, as it yells, I'm melting, I'm melting! Oh. Poor little lander. Poor little lander. 150 tons of animals? Yeah, but I don't understand. I can't comprehend what a ton is. I can comprehend what... Like, I understand a blue whale is really, really big, but I can't wrap my head around how big. 2-liter bottles? I know what a 2-liter bottle feels like. So, 15 whales was a reference to the lunar lander hop length. Thank you. Thank you. The Gem Doctor says, how many sports pitches is that? Which sport? Another reason why I don't want to use that for length. Paranoir says, I was being facetious regarding the lunar lander. It only lasted 127 minutes. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it lasted very long. My understanding was that it got crushed under the atmosphere, but that might just be my misunderstanding of it all. String Terry says, old little car. See, that works. Fenring's like 1 ton equals 500 2-liter bottles. Thank you. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Aye. Oh, and then we get into the fact of, is it a metric ton or an imperial ton? He's not wrong, you know. He's not wrong. So, any other questions? Anybody? Now is definitely the time to ask while I get everything kind of situated. As I said, I will be covering the SpaceX launch tomorrow. I will actually start early. Trying to think of how early. SpaceX usually starts their coverage 20 minutes ahead of time. So I will probably start at least 20 minutes ahead of that. And of course, I've already forgotten what time the launch is because, hey, that happens. Shh. Tinker's like, how dare you not remember? So 8:45. Paranoir says early enough to have a good laugh at your Astroneer playthrough. I'm tossing Cheerios to the dog. Yeah, I could play Astroneer beforehand. They just had their big official release. Oh dear, it depends on which Astroneer account I play on. I just landed on another planet on one of my playthroughs. So that would be cool. Or we can just start a new playthrough. I don't think I've started a new playthrough on that account yet. If you own Astroneer and you would like to join me, speak up in the Discord. I totally be happy to have you join in with me, and because really the more people you have in Astroneer, the easier it is, because then you can go and do 2 different things at once, and it's awesome. No, Astroneer does not pay me to say this. No, I did not get the game for free. I just really enjoy it. And, you know, if playing a card game is more your speed, then, you know, speak up, because we could do a card game called Launch too, which is kind of hilarious. We totally sabotage each other, and for that you need Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, things and stuff. So, any other questions? Any other questions? Hey, there's bits! So y'all know what that means, right? Right? It means... even the dogs know what that means. It means Cheerios. Here's the Cheerios. Pull them back a little further. Are you ready, Puck? Speak. Come on, speak. All right. Puck says thank you. And thank you, human. All right. Make it rain. All right. So the dogs are very happy. So thank you for the bits. Adult blue whales typically range from 45 to 136 tons. 1 metric tons is 1,000 bags of Rudamaya coffee, my brand. Okay, then. And Thompson says, couldn't let the fur babies down. The fur babies appreciate it. Look at them, just happily gobbling up Cheerios. They are starting to associate the lights being on with Cheerios being thrown. So yeah, thank you for making the dogs happy. If there's nothing else, because I'm not really seeing anything else, I'm going to wrap it up here. Going to do that whole awkwardly rolling the credits thing. And then perhaps find... Larry Weird and Proud says, can you play the ending song 3 times, please? I love it so. The one I sing or the one that's actually in the credits music? Because the actual credits music is in this one. There will be no singing. Because unfortunately, I can't hear the credits song. And, like, I kind of know what it is, but it seems weird to sing over it when I can't sing with it. Everybody's like, both! Both! No, I'm going to let you down this time, Larry. I'm sorry. So, I'm going to run the credits and try to find somebody to raid. We are part of the Knowledge Fellowship, and we typically try to find somebody that is, oh my, I don't even... Try to find somebody else doing science or programming or, you know, other things. And yeah, it looks like we might be raiding Adam. So, with that, get ready to do this. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see a good portion of you tomorrow for SpaceX's launch as we cheer on little Beresheet. Like, I think Beresheet will make it. That's just a really long wait to see if Beresheet will actually, like, land on the moon. They should land on the moon. They have plenty of time to adjust. But yeah, I will see most of you tomorrow, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all of your support. Thanks for the Cheerios. I mean, the dogs are always happy about it. Tinker's right off screen and you can't see her. But yeah, the dogs thank you. I thank you. Yeah! This has been a production in conjunction with Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona, and Youngstown State University in not-so-sunny Youngstown, Ohio. We're literally only here because of your support. So yeah, thanks again for all your support. We love you so. And I think that's all. So... see you all later. Bye.